This is a story of how my husband replaced me with his senior manager. Chapter 1. A Promotion and a Lie. It was a Sunday morning, just like every other Sunday. At exactly 6 o'clock, I quietly slipped out of bed, careful not to wake anyone. I headed to the kitchen to prepare breakfast while the house was still wrapped in silence. Pancakes for the kids, scrambled eggs for Richard, coffee for both of us. It had become second nature after 12 years of marriage. Once breakfast was cooking, I went upstairs to wake the children for church. Then came the last part of my routine, waking my husband. Richard had been staying late at the office almost every night for the past few months. He would come home exhausted, collapse into bed, and barely stir until I nudged him awake every morning. But that day was different. When I entered our bedroom, Richard was already sitting on the edge of the bed, fully awake. "Good morning, honey," he said with an unusually bright smile. He rested a hand on my shoulder before placing a gentle kiss on the back of my head. I smiled and instinctively leaned against his chest. "You're up early." I asked. "Are you planning on going to the office today?" Instead of answering immediately, he stretched his arms and let out a satisfied sigh. "No," he said. "I'm just feeling really great today." I tilted my head. "Why?" "My project proposal was finally approved yesterday." His eyes lit up as he spoke. "Management loved it. There's a good chance I'm getting either a promotion or a raise." For a moment, I forgot everything else and simply felt proud of him. "Richard, that's amazing." I wrapped my arms around him. "I'm so happy for you." Then, unable to hide my excitement, I laughed. "This means we can finally take that trip to Europe we've been talking about since college." Ever since we were 20, we'd dreamed of wandering through the streets of Paris, watching the sunset in Santorini, and getting hopelessly lost somewhere in Italy. Every year, something had gotten in the way. Bills, pregnancies, school tuition, emergencies. We always promised we'd go next year. I expected him to smile the way he always did whenever we talked about that dream. Instead, he hesitated. His smile became tight and awkward, almost forced. "Yeah," he muttered. "Maybe." That was it. No excitement. No teasing about finally eating authentic Italian pizza. No joking about getting lost in France because neither of us spoke French. Just, maybe. For a brief second, the room felt strangely quiet. Something inside me tightened. Richard wasn't a good liar. After 12 years together, I'd learned every version of his smile. The proud one, the embarrassed one, the nervous one. This wasn't happiness. This was guilt. I brushed the feeling aside, convincing myself I was simply overthinking. He had probably been stressed from work. But as we ate breakfast, I noticed more little things. His phone, which he normally left lying on the table, never left his hand. Every few minutes it would buzz, and without fail, he'd glance down at the screen before quickly turning it face down. Once, I caught the corner of a smile forming on his face after reading a message. Not the smile he gave me, a different one. Lighter, almost excited. "Who's that?" I asked casually while pouring more coffee. He looked up so quickly that he nearly dropped his phone. "Oh, just someone from work." "On a Sunday." "They're asking about the project." I nodded, pretending to believe him. But something didn't sit right. For the first time in years, breakfast felt like two strangers sharing the same table. I couldn't explain it then, but looking back now, I think that was the morning I unknowingly watched my marriage begin to fall apart.